And we're live. Hello everyone, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 66. This is the one about Jeet Kune Do and the search for truth. So as you guys are logging in and checking us out, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, and hit the like button and continue to do so. You know, if I say anything that you agree with, if I say anything that you find insightful or what have you. That way Facebook knows we're having a good time and they assign algorithmic relevance to what we're doing. Alright, so hello Mr. Hollinger, how are you? So the origin story for today's title, JKD and the Search for Truth, right? So I was reading Bay Logan's book, Bruce Lee and I, and if you're a fan of Bruce Lee's movies, then you definitely want to check this book out. So I was reading Bay's book. I got it even before he agreed to do the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode with me. But in doing that, you know, it took me back to my early days of when and why I became a Bruce Lee follower. You know, and back then, my attraction to the idea of Jeet Kune Do was found in the expression that Jeet Kune Do was, the expression of Jeet Kune Do as the search for truth in martial art combat, right? Because for me, at that time, I was discovering that the stuff that I was working on in like basics and in forms in the local Kung Fu school, that stuff wasn't really working when it came to the sparring. When it came to the sparring, the boxing and kickboxing did a whole lot better, right, than the stuff from the forms and from the basics. And then even less so when I would exchange with my friends in like traditional karate, Shotokan, and other systems. Then even so, the boxing and the kickboxing approach made a whole lot more sense, right? So later on, after I had become a student of Dan Inosanto's, and I was exposed to his teachings and then reading his book, which I probably take out every broadcast. Hey, Sifu Nick. So after being exposed to Inosanto's teachings, the search for truth in martial art combat expanded out to the search for truth in all things which are of interest to you. So for me, that led to investigations and research into, I guess generally speaking, we could use the term antiquity, right? Because I became very interested in knowing how things work, how things came to be, what came before that led people to be where they are now, if that makes sense, right? So the areas of personal interest that I was led to because of Jeet Kune Do, because of the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, were things like martial arts, of course, right? But then ancient civilizations, religion, psychology, warfare, politics, ethics and morality, spirituality, those kinds of things, right? So in essence, then I became like an epistemologist, you know, proverbially, what is truth, how do we know it, and how can we prove it? So as some of you know, I watch Joe Rogan because, you know, he's got one of the most popular podcasts out there in the world probably, and Dan Inosanto taught me to study the people who are great at what they do, especially if it's something that you want to be great at also, and learn what you can from them. And so there was an episode of Rogan's podcast where he was talking with the science guy, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and who's another person that I admire because he's been able to take science, which I failed miserably in school, and which is boring for some people, intimidating for other people, but deGrasse Tyson has been able to make it hip and sexy, right, and entertaining for the general public, right? Which is, I think you guys would agree with that. So in a similar way, one of my goals, and Sifu Nick and I talk about this all the time, one of my goals is to make Jeet Kune Do hip and sexy again, right? Just like the founder of Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee, was, right? So Tyson is telling Rogan that there are three types of truth, right? Objective truth, personal truth, and then he says political truth, right? Hey Simon, glad you could make it again. So objective truth, right, is that which you can essentially get from science lessons. So remember, this is Neil deGrasse Tyson talking, right? So like mathematical truth. Personal truth, which both Rogan and I had the same opinion, is more like beliefs or opinions. And then deGrasse Tyson made the joke that political truth is something that is repeated over and over again. But now, if you look it up yourself, right? So if you do like a Google search or something, you'll end up probably where I ended up, and you'll find people talking about empirical and logical truth, and ethical and metaphysical truth, right? So stick with me here for a second. So, for example, the laws of motion are solid, logical, and empirical truths, while the idea of a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is a less tangible, ethical, and moral truth. It is something that we know in our hearts, right? A belief, like we just mentioned in personal truth, is something that a person thinks is true, and it may or may not be justified, and it may or may not be proven by facts. Okay? Now, that's not supposed to happen because I have the thing on Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that, guys. I'll edit it out. Right, so where were we? A belief, right? We're talking about belief, which is a personal truth. A justified belief is a belief that's based on reason. It is backed by facts, theories, logic, and empirical evidence, right? In the sciences, what I read is that they call these justified beliefs theories. And a theory isn't always right. And it invites skepticism, opinion, debate, and rigorous testing. So I'm reading this stuff and I'm going, man, that sounds a lot like something that all of us meet here on Wednesdays and Fridays to discuss, right? So a well-oiled theory is a valid argument until and unless it is proven false. Right? And then there are different types of theories. So scientific theory is different if you're talking about physics as opposed to if you're talking about the social sciences, right? And then you have those scientific theories. Then there's opinion, the belief which is based on data of any kind. There are facts, which are things that have been proven, undoubtedly to be true. And then there's the myth, which is something that is proven to be undoubtedly untrue. And then there's the factoid, right? Something that appears to be true, but is not verified. And then the one with which we are all familiar is a lie. A lie is something that is not true, but is sometimes knowingly portrayed as being truth, right? And then there's two more. There's three more. A half-truth, right? Part lie, part truth, and it kind of varies between in intensity. And then spin, which is like a public relations term, right? Where you twist the truth around to make something look good. And then there is, hey Steve Corley, good, right? And then there is finally the summation of this all, there's BS, right? Which describes a wide variety of what they call in this article, counterfeit information. So here's what I wanted, so the summation, right, of all this. If we wanted to, we could drill down, and I'm tempted to do this for next week's broadcast. If we wanted to, we could drill down and scour through all of our Bruce Lee and Jeet Kune Do information, and everything that we just talked about, everything that we just mentioned, a belief, a justified belief, objective truth, personal truth, spin, factoid, a lie, a myth, whatever, all of that can be found in Jeet Kune Do, right? Which is why ultimately all we have is what we have worked with. So as instructors, as students, as followers, as adherents to Jeet Kune Do, ultimately all we have is what we have worked with, what we have battle tested, right, to determine that works for us, guided by what is important to us, what is personally useful or personally suitable, while allowing others in the JKD world to do just the same. So if one guy's Jeet Kune Do journey leads him into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and he finds a whole new world in there, then more power to him. Another guy might find it in Silat, another guy might find it in Kali, another guy might find it in Muay Thai. I like to say that if you're Bert Richardson, then you find truth in all of them, because Bert is so well practiced in everything, right? But that was something that came out again. Like I said, you know, talking to Bay Logan and just thinking about my early days starting out in Jeet Kune Do, and Bruce Lee saying something like, Jeet Kune Do is about the truth, searching for the truth in martial art combat, and then letting that affect the other areas of your life so that you become a seeker of truth and knowledge, right? So that's it for today. Guys, feel free to comment, share, like, dislike, ask questions. I'll review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live on Facebook, and please subscribe to both the Jeet Kune Do broadcast and the Jeet Kune Do dialogues channels on the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, but on Instagram at Dwight D Woods. Had to make that change. Quick heads up, ilovejeetkunዶ.com. The Quick Skills Series Volume 1 available. Coming up on Friday, March 1st, Jeet Kune Do dialogues with Clay Pratka of Texas JKD Athletic Club. And I think he just confirmed with me that we can do 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's Friday, March 1st, Jeet Kune Do dialogues with Clay Pratka. Show your support for our efforts here at jkdrebel.com/store. And all proceeds from there go towards upgrading what we do here on the show. And I'll see you back here next week, same time, for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel. Today's a green day, as you can see, right? That's today's shirt. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. This is Dwight Woods signing out. Take care.